Okay, I wanted to go through a full use of the apparatus here and show you how easy it is. Hopefully I don't impale myself here. So, once it captures the shaft and you're down far enough to far enough to access the part of the shifter where the clip goes, you're home free, pretty much. Yes, here we go. Easier said than done, huh? There we go. Okay. Get that tool out. Without disengaging the clip. There we go. Bingo. Now we'll just straighten her up a little bit with a new favorite tool. Easy. Okay, we'll rebuild a second one here and see how it goes. Remember, these are pre-matched. So I'm matching the grooves to the ball on the end of the shifter, and the slots are have proper clearance, which is your big deal. And I forgot, you got to put the detent in now. That's number 2. Push that down. Screwdriver, shaft. Okay, I want you to see this positioning for doing the second rivet. You've got the second shaft, first reverse shaft, towards the rear. You've put the shift lever and the fork for second and high, the passenger side, you've pushed that to the front, to the forward side. So you've got this, you can move that shaft. The other one is set in the detent, so it's not going to move, and it's kind of out of your way till you get that rivet in. So this is a positioning I would use, and then we'll put the rivet in. Kind of the tricky part of the whole thing in my view. Okay, piece of cake. Okay, rivet's now in. Now we can set the rivet. And that should do it. Then we just go ahead and reposition this thing. So I wanted you to see that with this camera setup. Okay, now we'll go ahead and rivet the fork into position, and that should just about be it. We reposition it into neutral, and we're home. Okay, we're in good shape. Now we want to bring the lever back, get this into a detent in neutral. That should be about it right there. And bring the shaft back, if it'll cooperate. See, we gotta have the pressure off of it. Okay, now we're in neutral. Beautiful piece of cake. So everything should be pretty good now. And I don't really have too much else there. The detents are in place. We've got it to spec. The next step is putting it on top of the tranny in neutral, and that should do it for this one. I did want to mention a couple of things. Want to make sure the vent hole is clear when you're cleaning this. It's at the rear right here, and keep that clean over time, keep that clear over time. Where you notice you're getting excessive oil out of the transmission, it could be this is plugged up slightly. And I'm going to put a light coating of oil on this. I'm not going to put grease on this. Just put light oil. It's lubed by the transmission oil when the transmission works. Between now and then we'll put the light coat of oil on it. The shift lever pin that's underneath here under this little cup doesn't seem to, it's pretty hard steel, so chances are that's not going to be a problem. If you get a reproduction like this, you may have to make a shaft, and I mentioned that earlier. I believe I used 1/4" drill bit shaft, but and I didn't see where any of the suppliers I looked at carried that pin. Even in the rebuild kits, I don't know if they have that. Maybe I've missed it. The detent wear, we talked a little about the shape of the detent, and Indy goes through troubleshooting all the parts. You want it nice and round. The reproductions, I don't think have that shoulder on them. I took about 5 of these apart, 5 or 6 of these apart, and about 2/3 of the detents are fine. The springs are tough. Were all usable. It looked like one was a little undersized, probably a replacement. So the original springs and detents, if they're not worn, and I didn't try dressing them, that's probably a pretty hard steel. I think those would be just fine. The shaft notch wear, yeah, it wears. I plan to reuse at least 3 sets. They have a little bit of wear. Second and high would be the big wear point. That second and high fork is going to be the one that is going to have a little more wear to it. And you know, you hope. I think now they're about $55–60 for forks through one of the suppliers for replacements, but it might be money well spent. And that's pretty much it. The pitting on the shafts, I got one set of shafts that had some pitting on it, where it worked in the casting, and it probably leaked pretty well. When I took it apart, it's pretty rusty assembly. So I think the shafts are probably now $15–20 each. So most of the parts are available. Remember what I said about the ball replacement ball on the end of the shift lever being kind of a problem, and you're going to need to fit your forks notches on the forks to that ball, which I did here, and I just filed it wider. So that's what I've got on this. This is pretty much done.